Hi, welcome to the Penguin Post newspaper by Kids. Today we are interviewing Professor Kevin Griffin. He studies how and why trees grow differently, based on things like the amount of carbon dioxide in the air or the amount of sunlight. Let's ask questions.
Why do you study trees?
I just love trees. I think they're so beautiful and so interesting. They provide shade for me. They provide a place for birds and other animals to live, and they make things like oxygen and wood and all these things that people need. And from a scientific point of view, they're just really interesting, and they're so complicated and complex that there's no end to the interesting questions I can ask about trees and how they grow.
What do you think would motivate someone to plant a tree?
Well, that's another good question. There's lots of good reasons that people plant trees. I like to plant trees when I can see them from my window, or maybe sit under them in my backyard in the middle of summer and watch the squirrels and the birds that live in those trees. But I also plant a whole lot of trees for the experiments I do. And so I grow trees in my laboratory, I grow them outside, and I go to native forests to study how the trees are growing. But other people, they might grow trees to produce wood or produce food or to make oxygen, take up carbon. Trees do so much for us. They even clean the water. So you might, if you were a farmer, you might like to plant a bunch of trees right along the stream to protect the stream, or maybe even a lake.
How do trees survive through natural disasters?
That's an interesting question. Trees can survive lots of different natural disasters, and they can really be quite resilient. For example, some trees can grow back from their stumps. So if a tree gets cut down or knocked down or even broken off in a big windstorm, or maybe even killed in a fire, the tree will resprout from the roots and send up whole new shoots that can grow eventually into trees to replace the one that was lost. There's other species that just make a whole lot of seeds. And if you can really make a lot of seeds that are long-lived and can survive in the soil, if the forest above gets knocked down, then those seeds can regrow and help replace some of those trees that were lost.
And where can we learn how to take care of tree seedlings and trees if we wanted to plant them?
Well, if you went to a nursery or a nature park or a forest, you could always ask someone there who works on the trees or takes care of trees, and they can help you a lot. You might also go to the library, where you could find lots of great books about how trees are growing. And of course, the internet has lots of wonderful resources all about trees. You can find those from universities and schools, maybe from the state that the foresters that work for the state you live in. So I think there's lots of great ways. But now that we got to meet each other, if you ever have any questions, you can always ask me too.
How do you think people can live in harmony with nature and animals? People need space to grow their vegetable and crops, and so they cut down the forest. How can we balance this?
Yes, that's a very important point. And since we do have a lot of people on the planet and it's our responsibility to feed them, we have to be very careful to take care of the people that rely on crops we grow, as well as on the forests. So I think there's quite a lot that we can do. The first thing is we just need to make sure that the food that we do grow gets to all those people that are hungry, and that we take care of each other and make sure that none of that food gets wasted. We can also try and make the land that we use now to grow our food as productive as possible. And that way, if we can grow the most food on those places, we won't have to cut down new forest. And finally, I would like to point out that there lots of trees grow fruits that can be eaten. So forests can be part of the solution to providing food for people. If you're like me, you love to eat apples, or maybe you like almonds or walnuts and all of these great things, maybe even avocados, those all come from trees. So we can make trees part of the solution to feeding people as well.
Mm. I'm working on making a tree planting app. The main idea is to motivate people to plant trees. The app user can share a video of themselves planting seeds of their trees in their part of the world so others can be inspired to do the same. Do you have any suggestions of what I could add to my app?
Wow, that's great. I love this idea, and I can't wait to see the app. I think it would be really fun to let people come back if they show a picture of a tree they've planted or a tree they're taking care of. Maybe you could have it so they can post other pictures as the tree gets bigger, or maybe they could report how much the tree's growing. You could teach people how to measure the diameter of the tree or the height of the tree. And then they could add some information about how quickly the tree is growing. Another fun thing would be to always take a picture on this at the same time of year. So if you live in a neat place where the leaves are changing color, maybe every Halloween you post an update of how your tree's growing and we can see how the tree's changing. Another fun idea would be to have a little log where people can report when different things are happening with their trees. So when did the leaves come out? When did the leaves fall out? Did the tree flower this year? Were there insects? What sort of things happen to the tree as it goes along? I've been working with some friends of mine to make small sensors that measure how the trees grow. And we are also trying to make an app that people can watch their tree grow, because your tree actually gets bigger and smaller all day long, day after day. And I think it'd be really fun if people could see that and know when their trees are growing and know how much they're growing.
Thank you so much for joining. We loved interviewing you. Bye.
So long.
Bye.
Great work, you guys. Thank you.